What's good, lads? Welcome back to the channel. Today we have I'm gonna spill this all over the place if I'm not careful, and I just hit my head off the microphone. Great start to the video anyway. Lads, we have a band that is no stranger to the channel. This is Futuristic with their, technically as of the release day when this will be dropping, it's their brand new single, but I've got it like 2 weeks before, so I got that YouTube reaction channel privilege. But shout out to the lads at Futuristic. Obviously they've had some great tracks. I've pretty much loved everything I've heard from these guys so far. We did check out their last track called Falling a few days ago on stream. Enjoyed that one as well. My favorite by those is probably still True Colors. That track just goes so goddamn hard. But this track is called JeMeSouviens, which I believe means I remember, and from what they've said in the description of this video, it says Futuristic presents Act 2 Apocalypse, the second EP of a trilogy that will result in their debut LP, La Trilogie. Okay, so that's pretty much all we have for this one, guys. Obviously, drop a like on this video if you haven't already. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. And without any further ado, let's hop in. Obviously, the links for the video will be in the description. This is not intended to be a promotional video. If I don't like this video, I'm gonna say it. But just from previous experiences with these guys, they've always been very good. Their sound, their production overall, so fucking crisp and well-rounded. So yeah, let's just check it out. And obviously if I don't like it, I will equally be as critical as I am, you know, complimentary of their stuff. So let's go. Okay, so they're sticking with the theme of this fucking skeletal, robotic, futuristic feel. This is fucking nice already. Let's go. Okay, let me pause real quick because this is something that the boys have actually been very good supporting me. Obviously they've supported me, you know, via giving me these videos, and they've also been on some of the Twitch streams as well and just been letting me know about their music. But not just that, they've been, you know, getting involved in the community, so I always appreciate that from the lads. But one thing they did mention to me, because obviously Falling was a little bit less on the heavy spectrum compared to something like True Colors, but this one, they have informed me, is going to be back to that, I wouldn't say roots because I don't know the roots of the band, but from me, the first things I heard from them was that disgusting heaviness. So I'm excited to hear more from that side of things from these guys. And we have French again, my native tongue. Isn't this what they teased in one of the tracks before? I can hear that little EDM progression. I feel like that was quite nostalgic, so I feel like I've already heard that at the end of one of their teaser videos. Maybe I'm wrong, but What do you got for us, boys? These lads know how to do fucking breakdowns. They know how to do the big call outs. And they know how to do that fusion. I feel like that one didn't hit as hard from a production standpoint as some of their other tracks. I guess there wasn't as much of a like a bass boosted drop in that breakdown moment, so you know, it just didn't feel as full, I suppose. Okay folks, we are back. I've listened to that track a handful of times now. I've taken some notes. We have a full fucking page of notes here, so let's just go through it and break it down, I guess. Just through some of the things that I do like about it and some of the things that maybe, to be honest, there's only one thing that I don't particularly love about it, but we'll get into that. Okay, so let's break it down through the positives from my own perspective. So production with these guys is always amazing. Every track I've heard Regret, which was the first track I believe I heard, then True Colors, then their more recent track last week, which is Falling, and all tracks production has been absolutely fantastic. The mix is always so full without feeling too busy. Everything gets a chance to breathe. So there's never like one moment in it where like the synths are overpowering or the guitars are overpowering or the vocals really like take center stage. There's always that very clear definition between each instrument or additional layer added to the production. So that's always a very big positive thing. This track had mad cyberpunk vibes. Their whole vibe from their more recent stuff from the EPs has been very like futuristic, like dystopian, cyberpunk, like Blade Runner, all these kind of like different very like specifically futuristic nuanced areas. It just has mad dystopian vibes off it, and that's kind of my next point. Is I love the, like, it's a weird, because for example last night I checked out the new Humanity's Last Breath track, and obviously everyone knows that Humanity's Last Breath, you know, just based on their name alone, it's Humanity's Last Breath. It's a very dystopian, you know, end of the world feel, and these guys have a very unique sound because they have this like ominous dystopian feel that they create. It's almost like a futuristic Humanity's Last Breath. Humanity's Last Breath feels like it's very much so more realistic in the sense that I can imagine humans kind of destroy. Humanity's Last Breath feels like humans have destroyed the world, whereas Frontieres feels like robots and the cyber side of things has destroyed the world. It has that very, very ominous futuristic dystopian feel, so it's very like iRobot to a certain extent. So that is a very, very unique feel that I get overall when I listen to their more modern stuff, which is really fucking cool. The sharp synths and harmonic plus dissonant accents on the guitars are such a perfect contrast for the low tuned rhythm guitars. So again, that kind of goes back to my first point about the mix. The contrasting between the two is very, very nice. There was a lot of like the harmonic pinches and that kind of thing going on in the, particularly more towards the start of the track, and they were kind of littered throughout the track as well. They all contrasted as long with the synths. They're like the sharper parts of the mix, the higher end, and then the lower end is so low and so gnarly, but it doesn't feel so low that it feels sludgy. It just feels very nice, and again, that's big props to the mix. The groove was great as always. Drumming was definitely the glue holding the chaos together. So having a few more listens, obviously I was able to kind of pick apart different parts that were making the track, and the drumming I feel like is something that you could definitely overlook in this track, but there was definitely some very obviously well done drumming moments, and I do feel like it kind of molded everything together and made it feel more, you know, coherent and definitely more progressive. I particularly like the fact that you never really know what you're going to get with these guys from a language standpoint. Like sometimes they go English, so sometimes they go French, so that kind of like completely broadens the scope of the music that they can create, because obviously certain words in French might rhyme whereas they would not rhyme in English, so they just have like a much broader range of vocabulary that they can actually add into their music. Again, it's not really like a pro or a con, because as long as the music's good, I don't particularly care what language they're, you know, singing in or screaming in. But I do like the sense that I kind of, when they're like in French, it gives me much more of an opportunity to actually listen to the music and appreciate the music for what it is, as opposed to just like, you know, trying to overhear the vocals, because I don't even pay attention to the vocals because I don't understand them, even though I probably should have some form of understanding considering I studied French for 6 years. But point is, I don't, so it kind of like allows me to ignore it. And that's pretty much all the pros and the, you know, positives wrapped up for me that I can hear on our first few listens. And then the only con I really have is I was a little bit disappointed. Now this might be just from my own preconceptions, but from what I've heard, and I want to use True Colors as the example, the breakdown in True Colors like literally ripped my head off. Now, I've noticed that sometimes doing a lot of reactions on Spotify and YouTube, that sometimes the Spotify videos or the Spotify playbacks are definitely a lot better from a production standpoint. Like overall, it just sounds a lot better and more produced and just fuller. Whereas the ones on YouTube, sometimes they lose a bit of that warmth. And I feel like with the breakdown, because I expect so much from these guys from a production standpoint and that fullness standpoint, I do feel like the breakdown, kind of like, you may have seen it in my reaction, I was kind of like, oh, was that the breakdown? It just, maybe I was expecting too much from it. Having listened to it a few times again, it did sound a lot better, but I think first reaction, it kind of like felt a little bit flat because again, they didn't really use that like bass boosted drop that they would normally do in some of the tracks that I've heard before. So yeah, that's really all I can really say about it, to be honest. I would give that track I think my heart says an 8.1, but my head is telling me 7.9. So I think it kind of falls within that region. Maybe an 8, maybe on a good day an 8.1, maybe after a few listens an 8.1. But I think for me right now, this falls at a solid 7.9. I'm going to give it a 7.9, which is by no means a bad track. First and foremost, thank you to Frontiers for sending me this over early. And if you guys did enjoy, obviously go and stream it. Again, this isn't intended to be a promotional video by any means. It's just basically me reacting, giving my honest thoughts, and then people can do with that information what they please. So yeah, that's all from me, guys. Make sure you leave a like in the video. Make sure you're sub to the channel. I'm signing out. Look after yourselves. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.